Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JPMorgan Chase, expressed concerns recently about the current global situation, indicating that it might be the most dangerous time the world has seen in decades. Dimon highlighted conflicts in the region, such as Ukraine and the Middle East, as significant concerns. The Israel-Hamas conflict, in particular, was mentioned as a potential factor that could upend the economy. But could just this trigger a further escalation? After the sudden and unexpected attack from Hamas against Israel, coinciding with a significant Jewish holiday, it seems the world is trying to de-escalate and trying to figure out how far Israel should go in response to the attacks by Hamas. But there are some worrying signals contradicting an easy de-escalation. Let's start with last week. Iran sent a message to Israel via the UN stressing that it does not want further escalation in the Hamas-Israel war, but that it will have to intervene if the Israeli operation in Gaza continues. As well, Iran Foreign Minister Hossein Amir-Abdollahian is threatening a huge earthquake in Israel if they continue to attack the Gaza Strip. The comments were made after he met the Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. These are quotes from the Iran Foreign Minister. "I know about the scenarios that Hezbollah has put in place. Any step the resistance will take will cause a huge earthquake in the Zionist entity. I want to warn the war criminals and those who support this entity before it's too late to stop the crimes against civilians in Gaza, because it might be too late in a few hours." Let us now try to describe one fictional forecast of further escalation in the Middle East if a chain of escalations gets triggered. The Palestinian uprising begins in the West Bank and East Jerusalem due to Israel's attempt to end Hamas. Mahmoud Abbas cannot contain the situation, and seeing Israel carrying out a full-blown genocide in the Gaza Strip, the Palestinians launch an all-out revolt. There are growing protests around the world against Western elites standing unanimously in favor of Israel. So, after the messages from Iran last week, the regime greenlights Hezbollah to get involved, and crowds of Arabs from Jordan break through the cordons at the border. At that point, the US might have to be proactive about the possibility of Iran, the new power in the Middle East, being directly involved in conflict instead of using proxies like until now. The US launches preemptive strikes against Iran, targeting potential nuclear installations and military factories. Iran is increasingly involved in the conflict, and Iran strikes back against Israel. Syria enters the war, attacking the Golan Heights. There is a rapid mobilization of the entire Islamic world. Pro-American Islamic states, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, etc., are being forced to join the confrontation on the side of the Palestinians. They are joined indirectly by Pakistan and Turkey. The story of the Taliban sending troops to the Middle East from fake news becomes a reality. Problems between Salafists and traditionalists, including Shiites, fade into the background. The great jihad of the Islamic world against the West and Israel is beginning. Russia takes first a neutral position, but does not rush to support Israel, as it is at war in Ukraine with the West, which in turn is completely on Israel's side. At some point in the uprising in East Jerusalem, Palestinians proclaimed the need to cordon off the Al-Aqsa Mosque for protection from the Israel forces. Al-Aqsa Mosque was mentioned in the beginning of the uprising in the Gaza Strip. Al-Aqsa flood. Israel, in the course of fighting armed Palestinian militias and in self-defense, launches a rocket that triggers an accidental impact on the mosque. It collapses. But 1 billion Muslims, of whom 50 million officially are in Europe, start an uprising now in the West itself. The US uses tactical nuclear weapons against Iran as the only way to clinically neutralize the regime. This greenlights the use of tactical nukes for Russia in Ukraine. Russia keeps that card in its pocket for future scenarios. World War III erupts with the use of tactical nuclear weapons. Russia finally makes up its mind and sides with the Muslims, but doesn't get involved directly in the conflict. China attacks Taiwan, distracting the US and NATO to a new target. India refrains from the direct support the US is counting on. The evening of history ceases to be languid. The West is forced to fight against everyone in the name of some goal it can no longer articulate. All the old theses about human rights, civil society, and other incantations have disappeared in the harsh reality of that many war fronts opened at the same time. Israel won the war, but at what price? Here ends this fictional forecast. The possibilities of this happening are quasi-inexistent. But let's picture fictional forecasts as a warning of what could happen if the world is not careful in these tumultuous times. Back to reality, Israel is showing restraint in the Gaza operation. It has delayed the ground operation, blaming the weather. But it could have another explanation. The U.S., observing rapid growth and consolidation of Muslim world on the anti-American basis, is hesitating whether to let Israel create an uncontrollable situation in Gaza. Calculation of direct consequences shows the concern of American policy towards the Islamic world. No Muslim at all would agree with any Maxim horrors happening in Gaza. Many countries, movements, and persons would react, some of them violently. The West in general will not create a direct confrontation with global Islam. Probably that was the ultimate goal of Hamas with this attack, provoking an overreaction that crosses the last line.